Okay, this video is going to go through how to do different structural isomers of alkanes. Then I'm going to do alkenes, some structural isomers of them, alkynes, and so on. So we've talked about the fact that the arrangement of C4H10 can be two different ways. You can have one isomer of butane that's a straight line, and you can have one isomer of butane that's a straight line of 3 and one off the middle. So we called them isobutane before, but now we're going to call it something a bit different. So you can see here on the left that what I have here is actually butane, traditional butane, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons as you go across. But then this one over here is still butane by formula. Yeah, so they are both C4H10. But this one, the longest chain, no matter which way you go, so you can go 1, 2, 3 across that way, or you can go 1, 2, 3 down here. The longest chain is 3. So it's actually a propane. And off the second carbon, yeah, we have what we call a methyl group. So that's a 1 carbon methyl, and the ill bit means just it's a group, a side group, yeah, or a functional group, as we like to call them. So let's just have a look at this one, and let's figure out what we might call it. And what it is an isomer of, because it's obviously a structural isomer because it doesn't look like a nice strong straight line. So how many carbons in total have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're looking at C6, H, 6 times 2 is 12, 14. Okay, so this is hexane. But it's not hexane, it's actually got a different formula. So we're going to find its longest chain. Now, its longest chain could be 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah? Or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So obviously the longest chain is the bottom one down here. So that's the one that we're going to give the name to. So it's going to be something pentane because there are 5 carbons in that chain. Let's just count along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And off the third carbon is this group up here, which is a methyl group. All right, so we're going to call this one 3-methyl pentane. I can't really write that, but it's 3-methyl pentane. So what the first thing, this is a nice set of rules, and we're going to talk through them. You're going to identify your longest unbranched carbon chain. So it doesn't matter if that goes around corners, but it's the longest chain. And then you number the carbon atoms in the chain from the end that will give you the smallest number to the branching groups. So in this case, it doesn't really matter. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and then you're going to name them after the alkane from which they're derived, which we'll come up on, and place the number at the beginning. And then we'll talk about the di and tri, and then the different lengths, we'll list them in alphabetical order. So we'll come to that in a second. So let's have a look at this. I can see my longest chain is along the bottom, so I number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a methyl group. This is what we were looking at before. So it's pentane, and it's 3-methyl pentane. Yeah. So here's another one. This is a bit trickier. We've got to number the carbon atoms that will give us the smallest number of our branching group. So here is my methyl group. I can see that it's a branching group off here. So I'm actually going to number back to front because that'll give me a smaller number. Because if I numbered the other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. With the blue ones, we've both got pentane, yeah. But this one is on the second carbon, it's a 2-methyl pentane. On the bottom one, it would be called a 4-methyl pentane. And that's just not desired. Yeah, it's not correct because it's not the simplest form that we can give it. So we don't use this 4-methyl pentane. We do use the 2-methyl pentane because it's simpler. All right, so this one's a bit different. Let's have a look. My longest chain is that one down the bottom because I go 1, 2, 3. No, not long enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So it doesn't matter which one I start labeling from because we're pretty symmetrical. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what are we going to call this? We're going to call this 2, dimethyl, because there are 2 methyl groups. So this is one methyl group, this is another methyl group. Butane, because my longest chain has got 4 carbons in it. And they're all single bonds, so it's an ane. So it's good little puzzles, these ones. Let's have a look at this one. All right, so again, we're going to label backwards this time because we want those groups. Here you've got one methyl group, we've got another methyl group coming off here. We're going to label backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and off the second one, I have 2 methyl groups. So it's actually 2, 2, because it's telling us where both of them are. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to have to rewrite that because I've messed up. So it's 2, 2, dimethyl, because there are 2 methyl groups. Butane again, because our longest chain has got 4. All right, so let's have a look at some other ones just here. So we've got, these are just a summary of them all. So we've got hexane, good, because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, a structural isomer of that. So this one, its overall formula is C6H14. The next one is also C6H14. This one, C6H14. Now, what is changing, though, is our semi-structural formula. So let's have a look at the semi-structural formula of hexane. It would be CH3, CH2, CH2. You can keep writing them all, or because there's lots of them, actually, no, we're just going to keep writing them all for our semi-structural. CH2, CH2, and CH3. Yep. So that's our semi-structural formula for the first one. This one is going to be a little bit different. Sorry, guys. I didn't realise that I hadn't restarted the recording, so I've done the semi-structural formula for the next one. So let's have a look and do this one. So we go CH3 because we're counting from the right. This time we're going backwards on 2-methylpentane. Then we go CH because that's in our main chain. Now what's coming in my side chain is going to go in brackets. Then we'll go back to outside the brackets showing me what's happening here and CH3. Okay. Now we're going to try this one. Doesn't matter which direction I go in. I'm going to start with a CH3. It's easier to go left from right. Then we go CH. Then there's a CH3 off that. Then there's another CH in my chain. Then there's another CH3 off that. And then there's a CH3 off here. Okay. The last one here, we've got CH3. We've got CH2. We've got C, CH3, CH3, because they're both off there. Actually, it should be like that. And then CH3 to show us that which one is coming off where. It's unlikely you're going to have to do the semi-structural formula, but it's good, handy information to practice on. So if you have finished all of those, you can move on to these textbook questions, and we should have finished 4.5 pages of your booklet.